Hey everybody, it's Glenn with the Cactus Atlas here. Welcome to Tonopah, Nevada. That building behind me is where I'm spending the night at the old Mizpah Hotel. And we're gonna give you a tour of this, as well as some of the surrounding attractions here in this area. So this should be a really fun one. So I've seen snow earlier today, but you can see Tonopah did get snow. It is early November here. So the first order of business, I think, is to check into my room, see what we're dealing with here at the Mizpah. All right, so I have officially arrived, checked into my room. I'm there now, room 510. So yeah, mission accomplished. So something that's super important right now is I need to get food, and there's a restaurant here on the premises that's open from 5 to 9 p.m., at least today. There's also a brewery that I heard is really good, the Tonopah Brewery, which is probably too far to walk, would need to get in my car. So I'm gonna go check out the restaurant here. I might even, I'm road weary, so I might even get a cocktail at the bar. So let me go see how crowded it is right now. Wow, this is super creepy. I wish you could understand just how dimly lit this hall is. That's so cool. Very Victorian, like Old West feeling. Really cool artwork and photos all over the place here. I've heard of 2 girls that are supposed to haunt this hotel, if I remember correctly, and you can hear them running and giggling around. I wonder if that's them. Wouldn't it be creepy? I'm looking into the camera if something manifested itself behind me and I saw it in the viewfinder of the camera. Ugh, I'm starting to freak myself out. So I think the most famous ghost here is something known as the Lady in Red. Like this red form or mist that people kind of see like an apparition. There's actually a room here called the Lady in Red room. You can actually find it online if you look. I think that was where she typically hangs out and haunts. Some more creepy old-time photos. Okay, I can hear the sound of people. It means the bar must be close. This is kind of an overview of the little casino and bar area. See patrons enjoying some cocktails in this cozy lounge. This is nice. This must be the Jack Dempsey room. Oh, really nice down here. This is cool. This looks like the door to an old safe. And it looks like there's like a little gift shop in here or something. Oh, this is cool, little display. And there's a lot to actually come and study and look at here. Bunch of old, looks like mining paraphernalia, some minerals. All right, so I'm hanging out at the bar at the Mizpah Hotel. Having one cocktail, Jack and Coke, my favorite. So really cool bar. So yeah, they've got like a restaurant back here called the Pitman Cafe. It's a sit-down place with service, so we'll check it out, see if it's good. So here's my dinner at the little cafe. I got some chicken fried steak and some mashed potatoes and some carrots, so. Chicken fried steak. I think it's time for a room tour. So you can check out what a typical room looks like here. Once again, my room is 510. So the room that I got here this time was queen size bed. They didn't have a king size bed available for the date that I booked. So there are people staying here, but looks comfy. This is facing the opposite corner of the room. You got a small TV, a desk, plenty of windows. I got lucky and I got like a corner room on the highest floor, and the view is spectacular from this room. But yeah, it feels nice and airy in here. You got a couple windows, 3 windows to be exact. There's furniture in the room too. A couple mirrors if you want to go out on the town. Not sure where you'll go, but you know, it's always good to have a mirror. Well, the last room to check out, I suppose, is the restroom. You really got to enjoy a good loud, rattly fan that turns on by default when you turn the lights on. Housekeeping does a good job here. Everything's very clean, by the way. But this is pretty cool. This I really like. I don't know how to get it all in frame at the same time, but you have a cool bathtub in here. So yeah, I mean, the room's kind of small, but quaint. I really like it. It really has like a period feel like you'd expect in a hotel like this, and it doesn't smell old. Double bonus. I felt the need to do something I don't normally do, which is to gamble. I'm gonna do 20 bucks here at the Mizpah Hotel. I fully expect to lose, but really just donating my money, I think, to this really cool hotel. If I win, awesome, but I don't gamble that often. I know slots are really bad odds usually, and I do not expect to win anything. So let's go see how fast I could lose this. All right, we're down in the lobby now. It's cleared out a lot since before, but here are my choice of slot machines. There's not many choices here. I prefer these kind. They're not the really complicated kinds with the multi-line things. It's like, just get 3 in a row. Much better than a Las Vegas casino. No smoking in here, I don't think. Well, as always, gambling is a losing proposition. Lost my $20. Big surprise. But that's all that's my betting limit is 20 bucks. So yeah, I'm cheap, but I always lose. So it's better to be cheap because of that. Oh, yes. All right, it's the next morning. Once again, I slept through the night. That was a fantastic room, actually. Probably the best hotel of the trip so far, to be honest, in every way. Yeah, the Mizpah, right back there, right? Yeah, highly, can't recommend it enough. Now you can see all of these buildings around here are old. That one was 1906, Tonopah Liquor Company. There's actually a couple things that I really want to see. Should be a short walk down the street. Probably the primary things I've come to see, so don't want to spoil it. I still have to be really careful. There's lots of snow and ice on the sidewalks here. The ice is very thick and slippery. All right, another thing I can quasi mark off my list, the Clown Hotel in Tonopah. Many of you have probably heard of it. It's supposed to be a haunted hotel, haunted by ghosts from a nearby cemetery, as well as ghosts of clowns, I hear. Pretty creepy, very creepy, I'd say. Granted, I decided to stay in the Mizpah overnight, so didn't have time to sleep here, but I'm gonna mark that off for a future endeavor. Spend the night here at the Clown Hotel. Oh my God, it is truly covered in clowns. There are more clowns here than I recall seeing in photos. Now here in the office, they have a big display of clown dolls. I also hear that they're pretty friendly to people coming in and filming. So I'm gonna try to peek my head in there and see what happens. All right, so into the clown office we go. Oh my gosh. Hi, how are you? Oh my God. This is over the top. Wow. Look at all these statues. What the heck? How would you like to wake up in the middle of the night to that? look at this. Alright, well, as always, I'm on a time budget. I have other things to go do and see, but yeah, I'm really happy I could mark this off the list. All that's left to do is to come back and spend the night. So this place came onto my radar by watching other YouTubers. That's how I found out about it. I'm curious, how many of you guys have heard of the Clown Motel here in Tonopah? Leave me a comment down below. I'm really curious. I'm also curious how many of you guys would actually spend the night here. So one of the things that makes this creepier than it already kind of is the fact that right next door is a cemetery. Cemetery, hotel, cemetery, hotel. Any questions? They also have little brochures here. Wow. Look at that, wooden headstones, as far as one can see. It's really pretty in here too, since it just snowed. Wow, so this is one of the very first headstones that greets you of a Charles Smith, who was age 33 when he perished, murdered in his cabin behind the Midway Mine. Well, see a person murdered, and you also know there's a tragedy that happened in this town on February 23rd of 1911, something known as the Belmont Fire, in which 17 men lost their lives, and I think they're all buried here in this cemetery. So this one's kind of a grisly tale. I grabbed the brochure that they have here at the front, and these are the Morozevich brothers. They both died in 1907 on the same day, but the story of how they died is pretty gruesome. So the story goes that George over here one day went to visit his brother Frank, assuming that's Frank, at the mine, and Frank noticed that a loaded ore cart had gotten away and was coming down a hill. So Frank swung onto the ore cart and tried to pull the brake handle, but brake handle had been removed and was replaced by an old shovel handle. He fell underneath the cart and it ran over, killing him instantly. His brother George tried to save him, but then the ore cart ran over his ankles, requiring him to get an amputation. Well, he didn't survive that, also perished that same day. So this guy died of pneumonia November 16th of 1904 from Scotland. Seems like most of these folks died in the very early 1900s. Seems to be the most common dates that I'm seeing here. There are a couple graves of interest that I'm seeking out here. One is a hero of that 1923 fire. Wanted to find his grave. So Big Bill here is a hero. He's the hero of the Belmont Fire. The fire that killed 17 men, the mine fire. Big Bill went down to the mine 2 times via a cage to help stricken miners. On the 3rd time he went down, he never came back up. How many men would have died that day if it wasn't for Big Bill? But this world needs more men like that. Now I imagine others buried here are among those that died in that fire, having a hard time picking them out, mainly because the tombstones are so weathered with time. I can't really read them, and the pamphlet only focuses on a few noted individuals such as Big Bill right here. But he was one of the men that died that day. Now towards the back of the cemetery here is another interesting one that's called out in the pamphlet. This is George Davis. Okay, so Mr. Davis here, George Devil Davis as he's called in this pamphlet. What's his story? Well, he was the first African American in Tonopah. Apparently had a successful life, even eventually owning his own saloon. But he had a dark side. He abused his wife, to the point where she couldn't take it anymore. One day went into a saloon, June 22nd of 1907, and shot old George several times till he was dead. I think she only served a year for doing that, according to this pamphlet. So I prefer the hero's grave, I think. You know, it's kind of a sad story. You don't like to hear about abusers, but apparently I guess he got his for doing it. Not saying it's right or wrong. Don't want to make any moral judgment here, just saying. Here's another one called out in the pamphlet. These are the Merton brothers. They died between 1908 and 1910. The first one died of typhoid fever. The second one died in a mining accident. And the third one, who was only 17 at the time, died of heart failure. So that's pretty rough to lose 3 brothers in that short amount of time. So I assume that gives you a little bit of a taste. You know, a lot of the cemeteries we visit from the pioneering days, the mining town days, there's a lot of brutal stuff that happened, murders and illness, all manner of things. So no wonder people think these places are haunted. Oh, here are actually a couple, several men that died in the Belmont mine fire. You got Clarence David, age 40. You've got this guy, can't really make out his name, Matt. There's another one over there. I'm assuming this is the section where most of those guys are buried. Here's another one that perished in the fire. Mike, February 23rd, 1911. Yeah, I mean, when you see large cemeteries like this, it's kind of a reminder of how many people actually lived in this town at one time, long before the days of the Clown Motel. And there we are again, the Mizpah Hotel in the morning light. Alright, this old elevator one last time here. Alright, I just ate breakfast. Didn't really film too much down there, but just had biscuits and gravy, a cup of coffee, and a small orange juice. It's enough to fuel me up to get me on to my next destination. Overall, though, the meals here at the hotel, I've eaten both dinner and breakfast here. They were both very good. Alright, so there you have it. Tonopah, Nevada. Really neat town. Barely scratched the surface here, I think. So much more that I want to do and see. Unfortunately only had in my budget one night here. So really enjoyed the Mizpah though. That was a standout for me, and anytime you're in this area or have a reason to plan a trip through here, make sure to stop by, at least say hello. If you enjoyed this video, please like, share, and subscribe, and find us on social media at Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.